Good morning, it's Friday, October 25th, about 6 a.m. Central Time. So this weekend I'm doing a Halloween 5K with my wife, my 9-year-old pit bull, and my 4-month-old daughter. I've done 2 Ironmans in the past, Wisconsin and Louisville. I've also swam from Alcatraz Island to shore twice, but pulling off the feat of a 5K without the dog giving up or the baby crying seems like it's going to be a lot more challenging. So it's going to be an action-packed weekend here. Now, looking at the overnight price action in precious metals, they are under a bit of pressure here after yesterday's kind of choppy trading action. Most of the volatility occurred within the first hour of trading yesterday. And a lot of times it's when the volatility occurs, that's what drives the price action. So yesterday we saw the 8:30 open, and that's when precious metals made their sell-off. What that mentality is that you have a lot of the retail investors that saw the previous day's sell-off. They've caught this move upwards, and then they think in their head that it's going to continue to sell off. So they hit the bid, they exit positions, they put in tight stop losses, and they even short the market. So that's where that breakdown occurred. And again, it's when this type of selling occurs tells us who the participants are and what is driving the market. So some examples here, if you see the overnight session sell-off, chances are it was international news, international economic releases. If it comes out at 7:30 a.m. Central Time, it was most likely U.S. economic news. If it's 8:30 in the morning, that's the cash open. And if it's 10:30 a.m. Central Time, that's the European close. So looking at yesterday's sell-off here, it did allow some of our clients to add calculated risk call spreads in both the December and the January silver contract. The thought process is with about a 10x on these particular call spreads we were putting on, they were around $1,250 on the December to potentially make $12,500 less what we pay for it. That if we get a small surge in the price of silver, that they are able to unwind some of these and potentially help pay for that January call spread, which has about 64 days till expiration. So looking at the overnight price action, we do have December gold breaking down $15. It's at 27.33 last, a little bit off the lows, which was 27.29. The high of the overnight session was 27.48. 27.48 was kind of the price area that we traded most of the session yesterday. So consider that your intraday pivot point. You want to see gold futures get above 27.50 and really hold that level in order to reignite things back to the upside. Otherwise, I would consider that high of the overnight session as just a slight bit of resistance. Looking at the December silver contract, that's down about 1.35%. So it's down 46 cents last trading at 33.33. The high of the overnight session, 33.95. The low, 33.26. Both on gold and silver, these levels here, volatility adjusted, are kind of your first area of support. You look at below that, it's going to be 27.22 on the December gold contract, followed by that old September high, which was 27.08. On a silver contract, 33.24 is kind of your first area of support. We start to break below that, it's going to be much lower here. It's in the 32s. So remember 32.50, old resistance, new support. Consider that as your kind of hope for the floor on this bit of a sell-off here. So why is the market selling off? Because I'm going to get that question here a lot. It's the IMF meeting. So there's a couple things going on. There's talk that if Trump wins the presidency, that it could impact the trade with China, and it could also affect some of these global markets here. So the financial leaders, they're meeting right now at the IMF. Now, it's only not the discussion about a potential Trump victory. It's also that these leaders are unimpressed by Xi Jinping's recent stimulus measures. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, she said that the measures that China has recently taken have failed to tackle the fundamental problems of their overcapacity and their weak domestic demand. And then you had a 1-2 punch of the IMF director. She had come out and warned that the annual growth rate for China could drop way below 4% without more reforms coming away. So they cited that a record number of defaults have hit the debt issued by Chinese local government. So in a nutshell, they're just saying that China has really got to step things up in order to stimulate their economy and things like that. Remember, China is one of the largest consumers of copper, of silver, of platinum, of all these rare earth elements, of crude oil, and everything else. So now, that brings the question is, when is the next Chinese stimulus round going to happen? So China's top legislative body, they generally hold one every couple months. The next anticipated meeting is going to be between November 4th and the 8th. So they're going to watch for more fiscal stimulus in order to revive their economy. So they meet once every 2 months and they talk about their economy from different angles. Now, a market that I do want to highlight here is Bitcoin. And because of the fact a lot of the research I'm reading is surrounding the Bitcoin market and the impact of the possibility of a Trump victory. So we do trade the large Bitcoin contract, which is 5 full Bitcoin, and then also the micro Bitcoin, which a lot of you guys trade out there. So it's 1/10 the size of a Bitcoin. So the full contract value of it, $67,000 for Bitcoin, is $6,700. So the initial margin right around $2,000. Every $1,000 move Bitcoin swings, $100 move in your trading account. And again, the reason why I want to bring it up was because this particular report kind of stood out. It was from Standard Charter, and they're saying that, you know, they're looking at the average betting odds for a Trump victory, 59% right now. They're saying that a Republican sweep in Congress could push some reform and also push Bitcoin futures up to 125,000 by the year end. So you had my head scratching there a little bit, because that's, you know, about basically a double on Bitcoin. So they're saying that once Trump's odds had crossed back over Harris in about a week and a half ago, that's really when Bitcoin started to break back out to the upside. And they saw a massive amount of open interest for the end of year call options on various strike prices. And it's a huge surge in the open interest. Now, if you look at us, Blue Line Futures, our fund, Blue Creek, the global opportunities, we do maintain call options on the micro Bitcoin. We've got the November 75,000 strike, and many of you working with me here closely. If we get a pullback on Bitcoin ahead of the election, I'm going to be looking at adding some of those longer dated call spreads. So basically what they're saying is that they say a comprehensive regulatory change would support digital assets, and the chances of them getting these reforms passed ahead of that midterm election in 2026 is at its highest level. So why is the difference between Trump and Harris impactful for Bitcoin? It's because of the fact in May, Biden vetoed this bipartisan resolution in the House and Senate aimed to cancel SEC accounting rule. This is SAB 121, which prevents banks from providing custody of digital assets. So just a lot on Bitcoin here at the moment. Now, looking at the precious metals, again, key levels of support coming in closely. Next week, a lot of volatility going to come out in these markets across the board. We've got everything from consumer confidence, JOLTS job opening, GDP, new home sales, core PCE, that's the Fed favorite inflation gauge, unemployment claims, and then we've got your unemployment rate, your manufacturing PMI, and then also the jobs, the payroll number. So just a whole ton of stuff coming out. If you guys got any questions, sorry I hit so much on Bitcoin, but I thought that it was important. You know, these precious metals, again, it's going to be another one of these sessions where it's a little wonky here. We'll see if it can find its footing, and then keep an eye on the U.S. equity markets, which are kind of charging back, but haven't really broken out to the upside again here. So expect some degrees of volatility. Got any questions? Give me a call, 312-858-7303. Remember, futures and options trading does involve risk of loss. May not be suitable to all investors. Good luck, good trading.